I'm muted. Okay. All right, you guys caught me. I was jamming away with the background music, okay? But I understand that this is a serious subject. It's a serious topic. It's a solemn topic, okay? I'm so sorry how late I am. It's ridiculous. But I honestly, I didn't expect anybody to be waiting for me. I got 4 people in the chat. Shout out to the 4 people in chat. Even though I know one of you in the bushes with it, being like, let's see what she got to say. Like star. All right, I'm me. Don't put any labels on me, okay? But I'm everything that you want to say I am. So I'm so sorry that I'm late. It's not cool. But to be fair to me, it is raining in the tri-state area, and where I live, people cannot drive, refuse to drive, don't know how to drive. So I had to deal with a lot of bullshit. There was an accident, and I had to wait, and it sucked. So I apologize. The shirt is from Zara. The earrings are Badgley Mishka. Okay, I'm trying to bring more of that into y'all's lives. Let's start there. Let's get to it. Kevin Samuels. If you guys have any fashion questions, I'm gonna do more fashion videos. I'll just shout out to people who might be here from my Met Gala video. Okay, did you know how much I love fashion? I have a whole playlist on fashion, so check that out. All right, let's get to Kevin Samuels. It's just so sad. It's like, I mean, you can look at my community tab. Up to this morning, I didn't believe it. It's been confirmed by NBC News. I'm sorry, Black folk. I needed that mainstream confirmation. I'm sorry. But I wasn't going to go with Black folk are us media, okay? I'm sorry if I wasn't going to just... And don't get me wrong, I in full support of Black media, but I had to get that more mainstream confirmation. Full support of Black media. Love Black media. Keep it up, Black media. Okay. Black media that's not trying to indoctrinate. Okay. So, okay. All right. Let's get into this Kevin Samuels stuff. NBC News has confirmed his mama, y'all, his mama. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh God, his mama. All right. There's still a lot of like, does he have biological kids talk? All right. I've been hearing a lot of the daughter that he's allegedly paying child support on is not biologically his. And you adopted, not even biological. Okay. Relax. I grew up in foster care. It's jokes. But still, right? So, okay. I'm going to go with that she is biologically his, because people are like talking about him like they know him or something. Like I haven't seen nobody on here that knows him like that. So say she's biologically his daughter, I'm thinking about his daughter, and I'm like, oh my God, like, but then I'm like, wait a second. You ever heard of what he talked about his mama? If I was his mama, I know. Respect to mama. But, I mean, his daughter, doesn't seem like he had much of a relationship with her. So if I'm his daughter right now, respect to her and her grief, whoever she is, if she exists. Okay, I'm thinking about that YouTube channel. All right, that YouTube channel makes a lot of revenue. All right. Seems like the YouTube channel revenue should go to his daughter. I think everyone that knows and loves him would agree with that. YouTube revenue should go to his daughter. Okay, so whoever's in charge or whatever, they need to put stuff into place to make sure that account is, because he wasn't married. So his next of kin legally will be his daughter, whether she's biologically his or not. I don't know how many people... Let me tell you something. I don't have a relationship with my father, bio dad, right? The donor. I don't have a relationship with him, but if he had a popular YouTube channel, hello. Okay, I would be in there. Like that's my day. I'd be like Liv Tyler in Armageddon. She's like, that's my father up All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, hey, so many of us had to deal with deadbeat dads. If you're going to be a deadbeat dad, be like this. You know what I'm saying? Because most of them don't never give you nothing. Right? Looks like he got something to give to his daughter, his legal kin, next of kin. Unless he wrote his will out and gave it to his mama. Sometimes they like to do that. All right, so let's talk about it. Did Kevin Samuels know that his time on Earth was short? That's one of the first things that I thought when I heard this news. Because I was like, he moved like a man that maybe understood that, maybe he was so bold in the way that he was and controversial, right? Because we're talking about a controversial, problematic figure, okay? We're not talking about, some shaman, right? Or spiritual guru here. Did he move the way that he moved? Because he knew? Like literally knew. Like maybe, someone had told him or something. I don't know. Because it don't seem like he's going to doctors. All right, we're going to get into that later. All right. It don't seem like he was going to doctors, right? I don't know, heart failure. I think it's probably one of the leading cause of death for men or whatever. But it's like when you have the resources he had, that should have been a lot more preventable. And this is a man that talked about health. I still can't believe it. I honestly, like, I can't imagine how people who, were really into him and some people like, he was my friend. Like, okay, he didn't seem like he had a lot of friends. He seemed like a singular type of person, but, let me read some of y'all comments before I get deep into it. Thank y'all so much for being here. Illuminati Sacrifice. He was hanging out with a lot of celebrities. Hey, we got to look at everything. He was hanging out with a lot of celebrities. Hey, yo, you got to watch it when you're hanging out with these celebrities. Because next thing you know, somebody that was hanging out with them is gone. Okay? Oh, listen. I know, and if you watch my channel, you're probably like, what? You believe in this conspiracy theory? Something going on there. Okay. Could it have been something like that? I don't know. But it is a possibility. Sammy, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Living with the Lovings. I saw that you sent me a message on Instagram. I wasn't able to check it because I was rushing to get here. You rock. Like, you're so sweet and you're awesome. Thank you so much for reaching out. So I will definitely reach back. I think you were trying to tell me we don't see you. I'm not responsible like you. Shout out to Living with the Lovings. That's my girl. I'm not, I'm a little bit more of the artiste chill with it type of approach, to the bougie Black girl. Okay. But thank you so much for reaching out. She was like, girl, she was like, we can't see you, and I have so many Black women that follow me that are like that, which I love. I've always been friends with Black women like that. Black women that are like, well, we got to get it together, girl. I'm like, oh, okay. I like to have a little fun. Okay. But yes. Also, let's get it together. I'm also very, I like to have fun, but y'all know I can also snap. So it's a delicate balance, Hi, Livia. Cattle Elizabeth. Oh, God. That is I'm really not making light. I'm laughing. I just think that's a really great song. You guys know, anyone that's been on my channel knows I sing that song all the time. In the room, okay, joy. Everybody knows that's one of my favorite gospel songs. Since I can remember, that's one of my favorite gospel songs. But anyways, yeah. Jesus. It's crazy, right? Pink pineapple? It's crazy because come on. Let's just go to there, right? This is a guy that talked about Black women specifically, you are going to die alone if you don't cater to a lot of the same old, same old. Right? And that was his message. Right? He was like, you guys are going to die alone. He would say that for him to now be gone, and the way that it happened, right? They say there was a woman involved. They might have been engaged. I'm trying to keep it respectful, understanding that, he's got a mother, he's got a daughter. The people that loved him. And he was a human being. And you guys know that I never make light of people passing away or anything. I never do a ha-ha, none of that. I always talk against that. That being said, I had to reevaluate myself on this one. I mean, there's certainly guys that could have got it, but I mean, when you look at it, and I'm going to get more into the spirituality of this, right? I'm going to get more into the spirituality of this. Understand that. So that was his message, and he repeated it all the time, trying to tell other people how they were going to pass away. And he passes away under such a similar circumstance. And then people want to talk about what you're speaking life into. I'm sorry, but y'all see how I move. You can keep things real, mad real. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that. I think that was a Dave Chappelle. Let's see what happened when roommates keep things real, and it's like real, and like mad real was like the white guy's line, right? You can keep things real. I've told people who have come on my channel before being like, you ain't keeping it real. What do you mean I'm not keeping it real? Because I'm not talking about basic ass shit. Because I'm not talking about what other people do. Because I don't care. I don't know what's more real than living what you're talking about. My 6-year wedding anniversary is coming up. Been together for over a decade, It takes a lot of work and effort to maintain any relationship. A marriage, in these days and age, you know what I'm saying? So, and I've come on as a newly married woman, been on this show a long time. And I never came at y'all like, I'm married and I know what it's all about. No, I grew into it. And I can tell you, having been with a man for over 10 years, married going on 6 in less than a week. I will be posting pictures. Okay. I can tell you that relationships are hard. And if you haven't achieved that for your life, you got some nerve to speak on it. You got some nerve to try to tell other people how they should be doing things. So, I always tried to move, and I haven't had ain't nobody checking for that, especially not, especially not y'all. That's why I'll say y'all. Who's y'all? It applies to who y'all is. I ain't checking for that. People just started talking about healing and stuff in this sector, okay? People just, and what's the sector? I'm in my own sector. I'm in my own lane, but, there's sectors. They just started talking about healing. They wasn't talking about healing like that. That's one of my oldest videos is on my understanding of how important healing is. And so that's why I don't encourage, I was like, we can cut it up and kiki. But, I've never spoken ill of people who've passed away. It's just not right. That being said, like I said, this was a tough one because I was like, I mean, geez, if there's a situation where, a guy could be examined, it's someone with the platform and the voice that he had and how he wielded and used that voice, right? So I'm not here to speak ill of the dead, but I am here to review the content, the work, the message of one Kevin Samuels. Okay. I thought that, we'd be talking about him a lot more, And look, you can see I started doing some videos on him when he was at the height. And I found a lot of what he said to be so toxic that I said, you know what? I'm not even going to listen. I'm not going to purposely listen to someone that's upsetting me. I'm not going to sit around and like willingly be triggered. That's ridiculous. I was like giving this guy a chance because he was saying that he was trying to like unify Black families. But how can you unify Black families and you're filled with misogynoir and or you're vilifying an entire group of them? And you're saying that that's what you're here to do. Black men, Black women, you're not going to be able to run us like that. So give it up. You know what I'm saying? Just work with someone. There's a very backwards, weird mentality of like, we're going to be in control and we're going to be, y'all can run who you can run with it. Everybody else, just leave them alone. They can't make y'all give them money. Y'all do anything not give these women money. So everyone's taking hits and losses. Just goes to show you never know when you're going to go. I'm telling you. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yes, Danie, you always bring up the points that should be discussed. Oh, thank you, Pink Pineapple. You're so sweet. Thank you. Right? Hello, Yolanda. I wonder if he had a will. If not, it should go to his children. I don't even think it should be the mom. It should be the children. Absolutely. Living with the Lovings. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. So hopefully that's the case. In all honesty, the sad Gen X Black men are dying at incredible rates. This won't be a teachable moment. There it is right there, Mocha Mommy. There it is right there. And, look, I saw Yanni, whose channel I really like, and she said, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead. I have parents who are that age and I want them to have a long life. And I'm not going to, speak ill and do anything like that. And, I don't have that. Right. Because I have a deadbeat dad. My mother passed when I was young. And so to me, he's not really alive. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like thinking about like when I see this happen to Kevin Samuels, I'm not thinking about that. But I am thinking about some of the younger Black men in my life who are not in their 50s, but who I want to see live into their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. And I think about how Black men are dying at abysmal rates, state violence, violence against one another, and preventable diseases. And for women like Yanni, for so many Black women like Yanni, even me with my younger family members, right? I want them to be safe. And so I can't believe that I get online and they talking about hair and weed and what an exotico gonna do and these divester, like, you've got bigger fish to fry. See, I don't play games with men. I let men be men. All right? Go ahead and pay for that. Go ahead and fix that. Go ahead and build that. Go ahead and do that. And that's it. Why are you in women's business? Don't like? I won't engage with men in women's business. Straight the fuck up. I never read Steve Harvey's books. Who are you to tell a Black woman what to do? Can you imagine if I had a whole channel and I was like, Black men, Black men, Black men? Somebody's going to take that and make it a clip and like, don't let it go viral, Black men. Black men, don't do it. Okay, I don't want to be viral for saying Black men over and over again. But Could you imagine if I was doing that on my channel? And you'd be like, who the hell are you? Why are you in our business? So I'm not in your business. So, what you talk about, the barbershop and who you want to date, who you want to marry, I'm not in your business when it comes to that. I'm in your business when it comes to this, living life as a group of people situation that we find ourselves in, right? That's when I'm in your business. But I'm not going to be giving y'all dating tips. And, we might have a video or two on it, where I'll talk with Black men. But, I have a few followers that are Black men, but, mostly Black men are very on code when it comes to who they will support. And being dark skinned already, you're out, and then it's like, oh, she wearing a wig and makeup. She's out, and then of course, if you're interracially, married, right? But these are people who are dying of preventable diseases, and they're worried about who I'm married to when I'm sitting up here advocating for you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? 56 years old? 56 years old? And you got to look at it like he just made all that money. He couldn't spend it fast enough. I have no doubt. Especially if he knew something was wrong with him, which I'm going to continue to ask throughout the course of this conversation. Black women are intrinsically linked with Black men in this society, in this country, in the West, in the world, whether you like it or not, because that's how people view things, And I will get to one of the major points in all of this, which is he was judging Black women for how they behave, talking about something, you guys are going to die alone. Yet he essentially died alone, right? They say there might have been a woman involved in some type of way, but the woman was not it wasn't a long-term girlfriend, and it wasn't his wife, right? And as a married woman, married men live longer. Those are the facts. Those are the statistics. Those are not the statistics for women. Unmarried women live longer. I'm sure a lot of them might be divorced and got a few Sega coins, back for themselves. But unmarried women live longer than married women, and married men live longer than unmarried men. And one of the main reasons they found why this is because when a woman, all right, when a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else. But see, but what did y'all do? As soon as rap came out, then everybody on the hood block, like, oh, we're not all rappers. Some of y'all could have kept singing the Temptations and, throwing the dice or, skewing on the corner on the block there. Remember sometimes when we was growing up and there would be some quartet of Black. I mean, it was crazy. We had the Nation of Islam. These guys would be walking around with their bows and stuff. And yeah, there was a hood culture that I lived in. But, I knew a lot of suburban Black people from school. And, and not everybody was trying to be, take that street hood culture, right? So anyways, married men are with women that care about them, right? It's like, imagine being a child for life. That's what it's like to be a married man, because for life, you have this woman who is, focused on your health and well-being. And he didn't have that for his life. And he had just got, all this success. He didn't even get to experience it and to enjoy it, and to see where it would lead for himself. But then y'all want to talk about people need to watch what they say. Indeed, people need to watch what they say. Who the hell are you to tell people they're going to die alone? You know, they're like, he was right, he was real. Like, what are you talking about? Anything negative y'all want to call real. He talked about health would drink so much Red Bull. Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be fair, everyone in the room, please thumbs up the video and subscribe. Because if you're here now, I can talk about things like this again, or I cannot. Like I said, I did a couple videos on, I was supposed to say Chris Rock. I did a couple videos on Kevin Samuels, and then I got a bunch of these negative dudes coming in. I'm like, I'm not here. I don't play. Look. I don't play those games. All right. So I don't want I don't want no drama. Okay. I don't want a bunch of BS, but subscribe. Okay. Great. My husband drinks Red Bull and I drink it sometimes too. Or, what's the difference between Red Bull and coffee? I don't know. I'm drinking this latte right now and I'm like, okay. All right. And I told my husband, I was like, you're going to have to lay off the Red Bull. I've been telling him. And he thinks it's a game. It's not, But then he's like, oh, you're trying to nag me. Whatever. I don't care what you call it. You're not going to just keep drinking those things. I think he only drinks like one a day, but still it's not good. Let's get back to the hospital situation, right? You're a high value man. You should be focused on your health. Because you see, successful people want to live. Successful people understand, like, I want to live. I want to enjoy, successful people understand that it's messed up in this way, I suppose, because when you're 20, you could really use a lot of the money that you end up having when you're 50, right? When you're 20, you're like, I could have went here and I could have done this. And if I had all this money, I had any money, I was 20, I was broke. Very few 20-year-olds are balling like that. You get a lot of this money when you're like in your 30s, 40s, 50s. That's when success, you never know when it will hit. And to not take care of your health, again, I'm not sure how, what the exact cause is. People are just saying cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest can occur, for various reasons. So was it preventable? When you're talking all this talk about what Black women should be doing, and they do it all the time. They have all this to say about what Black women should be doing, and none of them step up and show you what it looks like. But they want to tell you that you better have it, and everyone's making a click. Nobody in the chat has it. They don't have it. Nobody has it. But that's what should be had. This, if it should be had, then why aren't people having it? How hard is it? Instead of getting together and making babies, get together and get married. Why don't y'all do that? Hey, Felicia C. Okay, I just dropped a link. So if you feel strongly and you want to be respectful and come on and have a quick word about it, we can do that. But I still have to make sure that I touch on, all these points that I want to touch on, because like I said, I used to talk about him. And then when I saw that he was negative, because I stopped talking about him. I stopped watching him. I'm like, I'm not going to do this. Like, he said he was on here to help, but he's really on here to play games and get a bag. And okay, most people are on here for that. It's the dishonesty that I can't, I'm saying, this shit, that's shady, And then, he was so cool with Black men dating interracially. He had a bunch of non-Black women on his show, but He's like, oh, black women, you want to be interracial. He had a totally different negative approach about it when it came to black women. How's that for black families? Conspiracy theorist here, my tinfoil. Okay, right. Oh, cool. Awesome, Livia. She said, well, the cold winter and dying alone he professed over black women visited him instead. Mm. 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 That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, he was speaking. That was the opposite of speaking life, to be saying these things over and over again to black women and being like, it's because I care. That's abusive. That's abusive to do that. And because these women are so impressionable, and because his platform was so big, that's why I feel that way. Let's be clear. There's a lot of guys on here talking a lot of junk. They don't have the platform. Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares what they have to say. This guy had a large platform, could have done anything with it. And instead he created this narrative that was like, oh, black women have attitudes and they're not worthy of getting married. And over and over again in the titles of his videos, you can look at the screenshots, and most of the screenshots, if the woman is angry, it's a black woman, on his thumbnails. That's what he chose to do. People are on here talking about this like, oh my God, like he was the second Martin Luther King. He was an image consultant that YouTubed enough to understand how the algorithms work. And then, like many black women before him, made a living off of talking about what black women are doing, what black women should be doing, and controlling them because they want to be controlled. To the black women, the many black women that would listen to Kevin Samuels and take him seriously. They want to be controlled. So that's why I don't talk about the gender war anymore, because I'm like, this is how you guys flirt. I've already told y'all that. And then you see someone like me that's not playing in your little flirty game with each other. And like, oh, what you doing? What you doing? Minding my business, growing, living, loving, healing. Not playing this weird flirting game that you guys do with each other. You go everywhere, you go on all the channels, and it's different everywhere you go, but you're trying to flirt with each other. You don't know how to flirt. Just, you can be nice, but y'all don't know how to be nice. So you're like, instead, so that we can interact with one another, y'all don't know how to naturally interact. So the way that you interact is through the gender war. And black folk, I mean, now more than ever, it's so clear. They don't understand anything about unity. They don't understand anything about unity. The only unity they understand is the unity of dysfunction. See, I'm not like most of these black content creators on here. That's why I do whatever I want to do. I've always told you that from the jump. My channel is going to be about whatever I want to talk about, whenever I want to talk about. It's all over the place. Thank you so much for joining and subscribing. If you're here and you're down with somebody that, is a little different than the rest, okay? But I've always made it clear that I'm not here to kiss none of y'all ass. This channel is for me. I'm like SZA on this. The channel is for me, okay? And I had such dimes and gems that I was like, let me share it with the world, right? The channel's for me. I'm gonna do things my way. And I'm not gonna engage in your gender war. I don't have the feelings that y'all have. I only care about how I can succeed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on my healing. See, when I was a child, I couldn't control what was going on around me. I couldn't control what people were doing around me and to me. Now I'm an adult, and I'll be damned. I'll be damned. But see, y'all made him a star, black women. Y'all made him a star, even the ones that didn't like him. We'll talk about him over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, the money was right? Everybody got paid. Everybody was getting paid off of Kevin Samuels, and probably still will be, right? Talking about whether they loved him or they hated him. People would watch the video. I stopped talking about him. I was like, y'all can talk about him. I mean, we've already talked about it. We've already made it clear. He could really do something positive with this, but he's gone I'm going to get my bag and damn the consequences of it and damn, what it does on these very impressionable Black women's psyches, very impressionable with the women, very impressionable. I mean, people that play with y'all, you know how much fun it must be? I think about when people used to play with me. It was a lot of fun for them. Don't let people play with you, Black women. Okay. Once again, they're scrambling to be like, Black women, you better not respond. You better not respond the way I think you're going to respond to someone that has been on here making a coin off of degrading your image. They're like, you better not do it. You better not do it. They can do whatever the hell they want. See, I just said how I'm going to handle it. I'm on a path of love and growing and healing and all that sunshine. But I used to be on a path of man, fuck them up and top it up. Oh, and all my dogs. Okay, I used to be on some let it burn. So I'm not a person that gets on and tells people what to do in terms of how they decide to cope with things when they're not hurting anybody. You guys wanted Black women's reaction to be, oh my God, like, what I just talked about for the first half an hour before you guys get in the comment section with your feelings hurt. We just talked about Black men need to go to the hospital. When you're a married man, and see, y'all don't value marriage. When you're a married man, you will live longer. And then you got to look at this age that Black men die around. My grandfather died around the same age, 56, late 50s, early 60s. And y'all playing around? Y'all talking about hair weaves and makeup and what Black women are doing and how some Black women are dating interracially and that's not B1. Having your children in the worst schools in America isn't B1. Not getting married to the mother of your children isn't B1. Not a very small group of women that are minding their business. See, this ain't the NFL draft. They don't put on a camera and show us to millions of people every year. You don't have a problem with it when it's Black men dating interracially dating, but you got a problem with it when it's Black women. Move past that and start focusing on your health. Stop focusing on Black women. There's a way to behave to date and get married. And if you don't do it, you're not going to. You need to be focusing on your health. But they wanted all Black women to get on and be like, we talk about how, well, we just talked about. But they're not all going to do that. And that's their right. It reminds me a lot of the prison reformists. Sidebar, I've been, they're like, Freddy Krueger came to me in my dreams and I almost didn't live through it, but I still wouldn't want him to go to jail. That's you. That's you. Anybody touch me, don't even get in my face. They violate the six foot rule. Send them to jail. It's 6 feet. It's 6 feet for life. Okay, it's 6 feet for life. Why are you on me in the line? Do I look like somebody you should be on? I don't. 6 feet for life. Okay, so look, y'all can't tell people how they're to handle trauma. And I'm sorry, but this guy induced trauma with his rhetoric. Now, was I listening and being like, I believe every word he says? No, I wasn't. But I saw how it impacted other people. Not everyone is like me. Most people are not like me and never will be. Most people are very impressionable people. The majority of murders in America are caught through confession. And oftentimes, various times, these are forced confessions. People are very impressionable. You keep telling them something, They'll do it. They'll believe it. They'll think they made it up in their heads. So he knew he was dealing with an impressionable audience. Anybody that's successful on YouTube understands how impressionable these people are. Probably some of the least impressionable people on YouTube are Steelies over here on my channel, where I don't talk to my audience like they're stupid. Because that's what a lot of these content creators do. They're like, they're so stupid. They'll believe anything. They'll say anything. So speaking of they'll believe anything, they'll say anything. Oh, we got a super chat. Okay, Holistic Urbanite said, I say it all the time. Sometimes when people are going through things, they will lash out because they're pain and are struggling with health. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Was he going through something? You know what I'm saying? Because there could have been an anger in him if he knew that he had something, some type of condition or something like that. And he could have been like, I'm going to lash out. I don't care. I'm going to say all the things I never felt like I got to say. And I'm going to be bold about it because YOLO. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that super chat, Holistic Urbanite. Appreciate you. So yeah. Black people, you only understand unity and dysfunction. That's why you get mad at the idea that there's some black girl somewhere not living like the way that you have chosen to live, which is the sort of forced, you know, I told you guys before on this channel, like grew up in abject poverty, hood. Thug life chatted on my text. Okay, you know, hood shit. And I would go to Catholic school, and the suburban black girls, no one lived where I lived. No one. And, you know, and parents would drop me off and they would skedaddle. They wouldn't wait for my 6-year-old behind to get in the house where I lived. I just thought it was because I was black and poor. I had no idea. Like, you were literally living in the worst area that anyone could live in, like in New York State, outside of New York City. Maybe including New York City, because New York City has bodegas. Okay, you ever been to a hood in upstate New York? Ain't no bodegas. All right, just a bunch of corner stores. Nothing's going on. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. You know, it's not like New York. But anyways, I would go to school, and the suburban black girls would be like, you know, they'd be acting like Ari. And, you know, these are girls who grew up in nice homes, right? They didn't grow up, to be on the street, you know. But I honestly, I don't credit black people from the hood with that being how black people from the hood act, because I'm from the hood, and I don't act like that. So that's this weird forced thing that people want to say is from the hood. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I mean, not all of it. Some of it. Right? Anyways, and they would be acting all tough and stuff. And I was about that life. And I felt like sometimes, people were like, they try to test me, and the hood gonna jump out. Understand that. I didn't go through all of that to leave it where I had it. No, I didn't. No, I'm going to take everything that I learned, everything that I have accumulated and discovered and arisen out of from growing up in the hood. I keep it here in my heart. Okay. And these suburban black girls were just like, it was so interesting to watch their facade crumble, right? Telling you guys this story. I'll get back to Kevin Samuels, but right. So like there was this girl and they were like, oh, so-and-so said something about your sister. And anybody know if they said anything about my siblings, I rolled up. I told you they used to call me Debo. I rolled up on her. I was like, what you say about my sister? She's like, nothing. I was like, oh my God, it's so easy. It's so easy. And I never beat anyone up or, I sound like Amber Heard now. I'm like, I did not hit you. I did not punch you, Johnny. I hit you. Johnny. Okay. I never thought, like, I wasn't like trying to be intimidating. It was just an energy that they could feel, which was very real. It's a very real energy. I go hard for mine kind of energy, right? So, anyways, Black people put on this facade, and I think that it's controlling your life. And a lot of these guys, that related to Kevin Samuels felt like they were like these semi-educated lame kind of guys. Like, we're semi-educated lames, right? We do a variety of things. We make between 25 to like 75, maybe 100, right? We're the semi-educated lames. A lot of those guys complain about hood culture. They complain that they feel like they can't live up to hood culture. What I look like playing a role, doing all that shaking her butt in the club in front of her son. What I look like playing that role to impress y'all. That's why I don't do videos where I'm like, I was on a lot of panels. You can look it up. I did a lot of panels in my early years on YouTube about being pro-Black in an interracial relationship, right? And being like, you can have respect for yourself, understand your culture. They're like, oh, you can't. A bunch of niggas who ain't did shit for nobody trying to tell me who the fuck I am. I grew up. I don't tolerate that shit. I don't have to prove shit to nobody. Everything that y'all see about Black people, like The Wire and shit, I didn't have to watch that shit. I lived it. Just being honest. I told you before, I was working as a waitress, and there was this Black guy on a date with the Black girl. And the Black girl was like, she had like that going on or whatever. And she's like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from here. And she was like, no, you not. She was like, no, you not. You're not from here. I hadn't been there in over a decade. I was in college, I was in school and after school. So I hadn't been there for like almost a decade. Okay. I had to move back home for a year, and that definitely encouraged me to work hard. Okay. Because who wants to be back home? Anyways. And she was like, you're not from here? I was like, yes, I am. And she's like, where? He was like, oh, probably in the suburbs. Yo, this dude was like, he was cellular. He was on a cellular level. He definitely wasn't a gym cell either. He was a Nick cell. Okay. He was so angry, like, because I wasn't behaving in a way to make him feel comfortable. I don't have to behave in a way to make you feel comfortable. There's a bunch of people doing videos on this right now. Go over to them if you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what I'm not going to do is keep having the same conversation, telling y'all you cannot generalize. And these Black people, they spend so much time in chat rooms and this and that, trying to prove to y'all they Black. I don't have to prove shit. My work speaks for itself. My name speaks for itself. You can check on me. You can Google me. Speaks for itself. I don't have to prove shit to nobody. Y'all wasn't in the cut with me. What are you talking about? So I stopped talking about Kevin Samuels. I stopped talking about interracial dating. I stopped talking about all that shit because I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want when I want. I am who I am. See, a lot of Black women believe that their Blackness is tied. Yes, Black women and men are connected. Every group of men and women that are ethnically, racially similar are connected. Black women really have it's just like the one drop rule, right? There's like, Black men have to say you're Black. Who the hell is these niggas? And it's so funny because people, I did a video with this guy, Joe. I'm going on a little tangent of my own about my channel. Oh, well, I'll get back to Kevin Samuels. There's a lot to say. We're going to be here for a while. All right. So grab some popcorn. You can hit the super things. You can support up like me. Okay. I appreciate you. Thumbs up the video and subscribe, most importantly. So I stopped talking about all of that because I don't care, and I'm more focused on my mental health. And I don't want to interact with people like that. I don't interact with y'all in real life. I don't want to interact with you, online. I don't. I think it's a waste of time. Like I said, the gender war is a lot of y'all flirting. Most of it is y'all flirting. Instead of talking about how your unions are successful, it's always this BS. And then, like I said, I did a video with this white guy, and I've done a bunch of videos with a bunch of people. Same old D, in every single video. I'm just like this. And they sitting up there, oh, you smiling? But there's a video and he white and you black and y'all laughing. We're talking about dating and supporting Black women and the love of Black women. And I can't have a smile on my face. When y'all don't even know how to flirt with each other. You know, some dudes would do it to me. They'd be like, I was flirting with you. I'm like, you were flirting with me? You were mad disrespectful. I should have been checked you, but I let you get mad disrespectful. Okay. He was mad disrespectful. What are you talking about? And they'd be like, you didn't know that was me flirting? I gave you the Pacey plan. It's called the Pacey plan. I don't care who you are, what you look like. I need the Pacey plan. Okay, first you're going to be my friend because, you know, everyone loves when you're like, you're friends and then you fall in love with friends, right? You got to paint me a mural. There's a bunch of things. Go ahead, watch Dawson's Creek. My husband did that. He watched Dawson's, yes. Okay, yes, he did. Because he was like, what is she talking about? Like, he heard the Backstreet Boys. I know some of you guys are like, what the hell is this? I thought she was pro-Black. Like I said, I saw dime bags, nickel bags being sold out the house. What more do you want me to do? Cops was there every week. What more do you want me to do? I like the Backstreet Boys. All right? I wanted to know what Brad Pitt was doing. Okay? Hollywood. I also liked Will Smith. Okay? Like, I liked people that were popular. So anyways, when I was working at the restaurant and the Black couple and the Black guy was mad, and she's like, you from here? I was like, yeah. He's like, where are you from? Where are you from? You're not from here. Where are you from? I started naming the roughest streets in the city that I lived on for years. He was like, you should have saw him. He's melting. And I was like, yeah, I could tell you grew up probably in the suburban Black part of the city, bruh. Step back. I don't have to behave any way that anyone wants me to, and I never will. I never will. So if you're here, you got over that, and thank you. I appreciate it, okay? I'm weird. I'm different. Support me, okay? I believe that people should be able to be themselves, you know? And my family has had a problem with that, too, my whole life, you know? Like, they'd be like, you ain't cool, and the other Black people won't think you cool. I don't care what they think. Now, where's Elon Musk? That's somebody I care what Jeff Bezos. That's somebody I care what they think. How am I supposed to sit there and be reaching out to people who don't even know themselves, telling me, should I act this way or blah, blah, blah? Like, y'all gotta get to know y'all history. Y'all gotta get to know yourselves. Y'all gotta do a lot of healing. Y'all gotta do a lot of therapy. Y'all gotta have a lot of conversations that y'all don't want to have. There's so much you gotta do. And watching a YouTuber, let me tell you something. A smart man once said, I'm not gonna give away his name, but if you know him, you know him. Only God can save Black people. See, I'm not one of these YouTubers on here thinking that I can save Black people. I'm not. I think that that's a very delusional, grandiose idea. I don't care which group you think it is. And Black people are always looking for a savior, right? They're like, who's our next leader? I'm like, man in the mirror, make that change. Okay, what if it's you? What if the next leader is you? And you're sitting around looking for the next leader. Man in the mirror. So, you know, when you're a high value man, you want to live long because as you get older, you realize how much power there is in that, like how much more wise you are, more mature, more intelligent for, you know, people that do things right. And you want to live longer. You want to live to enjoy that. You don't live recklessly. Not saying that he did. We don't know how this happened. This could be, someone said that he actually, I believe, had a heart condition as well growing up. All the more reason to not, you know, to watch what you eat and what you do and not just be telling other people that, but to practice what you preach. Right? So, I mean, it was very clear. Sometimes when I saw Kevin Samuels, I saw the hurt in him. I saw that somebody hurt him. You know, there was like, who hurt you? Some of those people say to me, you don't be mad at me because you mad at your dad. I'm not mad at him anymore, but you know, it's no love. It's no love. But I can be honest about that, right? Most Black people won't even talk about their relationships with their fathers, right? Especially the men. You would think that these dudes just popped up like women just popped them up. And there was no, like I can acknowledge the things that have happened to me for why it informs how I feel about certain things. If you can't do that, then you're lying, right? You're perpetrating. This is a guy who, is she fit? Is she friendly? And what was the other one? Fit, friendly, and fun. And it sounds like he might have had a fit, friendly, and fun woman with him when this happened. What he needed was one of those nurses that he was always talking down to about their education. And we're going to get to that. What he needed was one of those women in the room. The very same women that he looked down on, could have possibly saved his life in this situation. Now, that's if he didn't know he was long for this earth. Okay? He might have known that there's something wrong with him. They said he had a heart condition. So he might have known and just been like, I'm just going to be, right? So there's two theories to this. Because if he knows he's not long for the earth, then he doesn't care, right? He's not going to try to like make a life with someone. And I understand. Did he know he was long for this earth? Or not? And I don't know. I don't like jumping to conclusions. I like to wait. Okay. So even getting on and doing this right now, the reason I did, because I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like I won't really be thinking about this after today. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm not gonna really be thinking about this after today. So let me get it out today because I won't do it at all. And I want to have this conversation. I hear a lot of people saying a lot of different things. Again, I dropped the link in the chat if you have a different opinion than me. But I think most people can agree that I have a pretty fairly balanced opinion going on right now. So shout out to me. Okay. All right. So a lot of things people didn't like about him. One, his tone, right? People were like, it's his tone that I don't like. Okay. And it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, again, if people want to, I've even been in rooms where they got me by surprise, just to be honest. They got me by surprise, right? I'd be in the room and they'd be pretending to have I've been in rooms that Black men are running with hundreds of people in them, social media rooms, okay? On Twitter, Clubhouse, whatever. And the title would be something very serious. Y'all think this shit is a game? But then you want to talk about something. Oh, look at those Black girls on TikTok. One, they're not the only ones that were doing that challenge. Everybody was doing that challenge. You just clipped together the couples that were young Black girls and their non-Black partners. But anyways, yeah, there will be rooms and they'll be like talking about like slavery and and you'll be like thinking it's a serious conversation. And then the guy would be like, psych, he'd do like his little like kid and play, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air dance, like I'm actually a comedian. And I'm like, what? I was in a room and this guy was like, hey, don't nobody care about all that. I was like, Black people need to do this. He's like, no, I don't care about all that. And then he like pressed play on his little fucking stupid. I was like, what a fucking idiot. This is what y'all do for fun? This is what you do for fun. Make fun of your own history for fun. Do you know how uneducated that shit is? Then you kind of come to my channel and be like, why are you laughing? You having an interview right now with a white person. The only white person I ever had on my channel. You having an interview with him. Why y'all laughing? It's like you want him to love you. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Bitch, everybody love me. Check the material. Get the fuck out of here. I don't have to stop. I don't chase men. I don't chase compliments. I don't care about that. We were having a conversation. But see, living under oppressive systems, it causes mental illness. This is all the more reason why Black people should be focused on mental illness. They should be focused on health, mental wellness. Not what a Black woman looks like and or if she's doing what you think she should be doing with her life. Y'all focusing on the wrong things. And that's costing you. And then you have this anti-intellectual mentality a lot of the time that, anyone that's trying to do things to improve their life, right, is a sellout. You know what's a sellout? The plethora of you who will never break the generational curses you were born into. You guys are sellouts because you're not living in a time where you can't get the resources and you can't get the literature and you can't improve yourself. You're literally choosing right now what you are going to focus on in this life. And you guys are choosing bullshit. And that's not going to spell success for you. You don't know how to be united unless you're united in dysfunction. I'm going to keep saying that because it is utterly insane. I mean, right. So say you're like me, you're me, right? And I'll like go to somebody's channel and I'll be like, look, I'm talking about mental processes here. I'm not being like, I'm the best and I'm the greatest. And them other ain't got nothing on me, right? Like, right. So there's a difference between how I'm bringing people to the table, right? To unpack these issues. Anyways, that's what a lot of people are here doing, right? And it's like, you guys have a lot of work to do. If you're born with a condition, for example, you're born with a condition, diabetes, what have you, you have to move differently than everybody else. When you're in your car, you got to drive a little differently. I don't drive over the speed limit. And I don't care if I'm in the fast lane, I'm in the Hove lane. I don't care if I'm in the Hove lane. I don't go over the limit. And I don't go over the limit. Because one thing you're not going to do is interact with me on some you were over the, no. All right? When I first started my channel, like I did a story about DUI and like how I almost got a Dewey. I didn't get it. I was sober, legally. But the point is, I don't drive under the influence. Get an Uber. And while I'm steadily trying to change this system, I still and break this system. DanieSteel, breaker of chains. See, I broke a bunch of generational curses. That's why you can't tell me nothing. Y'all can't tell me nothing. You can come to my channel and talk, why are you doing this and why? You can do all that shit all you want, but it don't mean shit to me. I'm at a higher place. And y'all need to get on that place. That's why you need to subscribe to my channel and follow me. You need to get in the place that I'm getting into because it has helped me to get over growing up in the hood under, in violent situations, trauma, deadbeat daddy, all that stuff. That is still a lifelong journey. I'm still working on, but people go through things. I went through a plethora of things. I was a kid that everything crumbled all the time and I never knew why. And like to top it up and to top it all, I had to deal with colorism. Y'all never said dark skin was pretty. And still to this day, you don't. I brought someone on the channel who would say dark skin is pretty. Dark skin is pretty. I love the way that it looks. And you guys were mad that he wasn't black. I dropped the link. Anytime, right now, black guy can come on the channel. If you want to praise black women, please. They never do. They don't want to praise you. They want to play this weird flirting game that they do where they're like, I was flirting with you, couldn't you tell? Like, no. I suggest you buy the Pacey plan, which is clear flirting, okay? When you're doing things for me, right? And you're being nice. That's clear. Engaging me in a gender war. What kind of flirt? Like, who do that? Why you do that? So, yeah. Anyways, it's a lot. It's a lot because, like I said, I don't really talk about these issues anymore. So I have a lot of thoughts. I do have a lot of thoughts as I now think about it. I thought he would be around a lot longer. I really did. And this almost never happens, right? For a YouTuber to pass at like such a high in their career just like really taken off. I mean, it's not just taking off. I'd say he's established at this point, but he like just got established kind of, you know what I'm saying? And what Black men were and are hoping, I guess, is that his message, which is Black women, I guess, need to take whatever they can get, right? They were hoping that that message would go mainstream. I don't know if I'll ever talk about the Fashion Fit podcast thing, but again, that was an L, a major L for Fashion Fit on the world stage. Okay, so y'all have a mentality that does not operate anywhere but these dysfunctional spaces. And people were like, "Oh, he's he's getting mainstream. He's going mainstream." It's like nobody's making that mainstream because nobody wants to hear that. Only your women will sit and hear that every day, all day, every day. And the women that want to be around you. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. There's a point people make where they say, a lot of guys are like, he said it to Black men too, right? He's talking to Black men too. Hold on, let me find, I have a video of him talking about some of the issues, right? And people were saying, oh, he was such a great guy. All he was trying to do was unite Black families. Y'all hear yourselves? Y'all haven't even said that about Martin Luther King. And you're seriously saying it about Kevin Samuels. I mean, you can go to his channel and look at the thumbnails. Those thumbnails are not indicative of someone trying to unite Black families. What are you talking about? So people were saying, oh, well, he also said, remember that conversation he had with that guy? Yeah, but it didn't pop the way it popped. And it didn't turn him on, right? The way that it turned him on to do it to Black women and turned on everyone else, right? People weren't really checking for him to do that. So that's why maybe, I don't know if that's why he didn't do it or not. But the point is, he is a grown behind man. He makes his own choices. And he chose to degrade Black women, a group of people that he is not. You're not a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? If like you're trying to be an ally, great. But who the hell are you to like giving them advice, not telling you what to do? And you don't even have successful marriages to prove, and you can't tell me, well, so-and-so don't have successful. I don't listen to people about marriage if they're not married. Period. I listen to Shira 7. She's been married a very long time. Y'all don't like her, but oh well, she knows what she's talking about. But I don't listen to most of these women on here. They're not married talking about marriage. They don't know what they're talking about. And Kevin Samuels did not know what he was talking about a lot of the times. Yes, he had some decent points. Sometimes he had decent points. I made videos where I said, look, this conversation he's having with this woman, it makes sense. I have videos like that, because I found it so unbelievable how delusional or messed up the woman was, But generally, I mean, he was doing everything the way most people do things on here to get back. Wasn't to unite Black families. Y'all do that all the time. Y'all be coming on here like, so-and-so loved us, and don't nobody love you but you. What are you talking about? You see how these people move? You see what they're willing to do to your image on a world stage to get some coin and attention? And they're like, so-and-so is so great. And they so amazing. And she loved it. Like, what are you talking about? Then I said, y'all always looking for a leader. Stop looking for a leader. I don't understand how you are advocating for the unity of the nuclear Black family and you're degrading the image of Black women. And he's like, oh, they didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that they fat. Look, to be fair, the women that called into his show were delusional. They were sad women. A lot of them. I'm not going to go hard for some woman that chooses to call into his show, that chooses to pay a channel subscription to call into his show. I'm not going to go hard for her. He was generalizing all Black women. That's why I stopped listening to him. Why do y'all be walking around here lying? Like generalizations aren't a thing. Like they generalize all Black men. I mean, some generalizations are valid. Okay? Some generalizations are valid. But I think that there's so many amazing Black women out here for y'all that Black men have in their lives, for them to get online and have the vitriol that they have about Black women. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm like, y'all act like there was some magical, like, non-Black woman in the house that was helping to raise all of us and keep us alive. Most of us grew up in single mother situations, or grandma raised us, or auntie raised us. And with your time, with your limited available high value man time, you're choosing to degrade your group of women. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You have all this stuff working against you, right? Y'all sit and admit that. Yeah, we got all this stuff working against us. So do something for yourself. Get off the couch. You're going to be anyway. Like, go to that community college that nugget-headed kept telling y'all to go to. But you got to get out of women's business. If y'all don't get out of women's business, I'm telling y'all right now, everything in the universe is willing y'all to get out of women's business. You should be focusing more on protecting your women and children and less on being in their business. Like, can you imagine, like, if I was like just in Black teenagers' business and I'm like, Black teenagers this, Black teenagers that. And like, you're not a Black teenager. Why are you talking about what we're doing? Why are you in our business? It's got to be something better you can do with your time to help Black teenagers, right? Like, that's an example. And I don't do the gender warring conversation stuff because I don't want y'all to think that shit is normal. I think that is trash. I think that is weak sauce. I think that it's pathetic. When I hear men talk about women, I zone out. I'm like, oh my God, it's so pathetic. Oh, why are you talking about women? And they'll get hyped too. They're like, you didn't say that. I'm like, oh, why are you hyped, sir? I don't like dudes when they raise their voice. A dude that raises his voice around me, you will never see me again. Will never see me again. Don't laugh too loud. I like a quiet laugh. Okay? Like, and y'all in women's business, arguing with them, having conversations with them. Like, what are you talking about? Why aren't y'all talking about getting y'all MBAs, creating businesses together? Why aren't those the conversations? And they're like having conversations about this, and they're like, he made us high value men. I'm like, who is us high value men? Listen, look, most of the men, high value men didn't have a lot of time to watch Kevin Samuels. Okay, let's start there. Though I do think that he brought up some interesting talking points, and I've talked about that on my channel earlier videos when I talked about him. You can check those videos out. DanieSteel, Kevin Samuels. I talked about that, right? I was like, I had a conversation with my husband that I don't think I would have had. But for Kevin Samuels illuminating, and he could have done this, he could have chosen gone on this path, right? Where he illuminated to Black women the psychology and the psyche and the mentality of Black men, right? And not in some pathological way, but in a way to, bridge that gap and to open those communication boundaries. Since he was so good at talking to Black women and himself being a Black man, he could have had conversations like that, where he was like, look, you guys might feel one way about it, but he could be like, as a Black man, right? I'm thinking about it in this way. And he's probably thinking about it in that way too, right? So he opened my eyes a lot more to how, because I've told you guys before, I'm like, look, I don't do all that gender war stuff because a lot of this stuff is men and women being in an interracial relationship. Like, there's things that men don't get. There's things that women don't get, And that's why the oppressive dynamic of then make her submit, make her do what I say, has worked for so long, right? We even see it reemerging with this Roe v. Wade situation, which I will talk about at a later date, right? Men want to control women. Cat's out the bag. You know what I'm saying? So there were times when he was discussing things and I was like, I told my husband, I'm like, you got to listen to this. We would listen, we would have a conversation about it. But let's take a listen now. This video comes from the Goldie Jones channel. Shout out to the Goldie Jones channel. She's a fellow Black woman YouTuber. And, Black YouTubers have this weird culture of like, if you don't do exactly what I say and like get very clicky and strategizing with me, right? Then like, we're not friends. I can't talk to you. I can't trust. Okay, that's fine. That's great. But then they also have this like, they're not welcoming of other Black people in the space. I'm like, look, we're all in the space. Can nobody here do what I'm doing? Because I'm me. I can't do what Yanni does. I can't do what Eloho does. We're all individual women. Let's support each other. Why is it always, it's so obvious. It really is. People will have 20, 25, 30 times more subscribers than me. And I'll go to positively comment on their channel and they've blocked my name. I know when someone's blocked your name. I'm a content creator. When you put, I loved your video and it don't pop up. Right. And it's like, why would you block my name? Certainly me. I'm not messy or anything. I'm just like out here, trying to show support. The reason that I do that is not because I'm some delusional person that like believes that everyone is going to be on that level, because I don't do things to get them back. I do them to say, this should be the standard. It should be the standard. If you come across something because you're watching another Black woman's video, you should shout her out. Shout it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I do that when I find things from people's channels. You guys know that. I'm like, that got it from this content creator. This is the person. But, I think people like negativity. They like the whole cattiness of it all. So they will continue to do that. It's not where I am on my healing journey. And I never have been. I've always been happy for other people because I want people to be happy for me. Is that realistic? No. But we're talking about this situation and what he spoke life or death into, right? Repeatedly saying Black women are going to die alone if they're not 25 and married to a 50-year-old. And if this isn't further proof about why, as a young woman, you shouldn't marry a guy in his 50s, I don't know what is. These guys are not taking care of their health a lot of times. I've seen some of the worst conversations on YouTube where on the gender warring, and a Black woman would say something to a Black guy that offended him, and then he would say, that's why you guys die in hospitals giving birth. I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen to that guy? What kind of life do you think that guy has right now that would say something like that? See, the sad thing is, right, that y'all don't even make it to the hospital. Y'all don't even make it to the hospital. Y'all won't go. Too busy online to the very end, right? Vitriol, anger, running your life. They don't have a bunch of documented cases of y'all being in the hospital asking to be treated better because y'all won't go. I remember when I was in high school, I met a man. These are the kind of field trips we would go on. Very weird, but we went on this field trip and we met this Black guy and he was in a wheelchair. And he said, when I was in college, I played football. I was a big guy. He was an old Black man in a wheelchair. His legs were amputated. And he said, when I was in college, I played football. I would eat and drink whatever I want. And I just got used to that. And I ended up getting diabetes. And he didn't do anything until he had to have his legs amputated. And then you want to come over here talking about something, you ain't real. You better get real with this health situation. Then y'all want to get online and be like, ha ha, you don't get treated this way in the hospital. You don't get treated that way in the hospital. When those are the kind of situations that are going on, that type of dysfunction, that low vibrational negativity, I don't like that. I don't think it's good karma. And I don't think it's good dharma. Okay? Your karma, your dharma, your mental health influences. The body is, a living proof of your mentality. Right? My mentality is I like cheese. Can you tell? Can you tell? Okay. I like cheese. All right. I'm going to have to cut it out. And I will be moving into that. But until I do, I'm saying goodbye to this cheese. All right. We're having a few last hurrahs with cheese. Okay. So, yeah, that's the kind of vitriol that, I grew up around, honestly, and just been like, why are you so negative and nasty? And people wouldn't like me because I didn't have that same attitude. People tried to break me because I didn't have that same attitude. But you know what would happen to those people? People that abused me mentally, physically in the foster care system. You know what happened to those people? I would leave their home. And I kid you not, 2 or 3 people in their life would be gone. And next thing you know, I'm at my grandma's house. And grandma's telling me, oh, so-and-so's this and that is passed, or so-and-so passed, right? These abusive foster women. And the correlation is their negative spirit, their negative behavior. They did it to themselves. I didn't wish anything on anyone. But the universe, right? Your karma, your dharma, you don't just do things and then there's no accountability. It ripples through the universe and there is a reaction. I promise you. A lot of guys that are trying to make a living off this stuff are not doing well in life. They need to give it up. I think that if y'all all started talking about business and business plans and, I talk with a lot of Black women YouTubers. We're talking about taking swim classes and going to the range and doing everything that we can to improve our lives. You don't see those conversations from y'all. Y'all like to be like, oh, so-and-so is doing so-and-so. It's so-and-so. I remember growing up, we were so poor, right? And those would be the conversations that people would be having. Well, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, don't you have bigger problems? Like figuring out where my dinner's at? Like, why are you talking about so-and-so and so? Why do you care about that? I never could relate to it and I never will. Okay. But so, that's an overall general thing that people need to come to terms with, because this internet stuff has emboldened a very low vibrational mentality. And then people are wondering why they're so miserable. You're watching people who are not on the internet wasting time like that succeed, and you're talking about it and you're wondering why you're so miserable. Connect the dots. Okay, so So he degraded Black men too, right? He had videos where I wouldn't say degraded, but he would go in on a Black guy. The difference between what he did with Black men in those situations and what he did with Black women is that he generalized Black women, where he made it clear he was talking to a specific Black man. You see the difference? He didn't say, okay, well, I just cussed that Black guy out. This video has a bunch of views. I'm going to make a bunch of videos like this. And then when I'm not talking to that specific person that I'm talking to, I'll generalize and say, all of them are doing this, right? So it's dishonest to say, well, he talked about men too, because he did not generalize and thusly stereotype, you know, because a bunch of non-Black people watch his show as well. He didn't generalize and stereotype Black men the way they did to Black women, which is why his content regarding Black women, I personally feel, was so toxic. Here's another reason. All right. So this conversation that he had, it was a panel. Let us now take a listen to this panel. All right. And again, this is from the Goldie Jones channel.
Before you hopped on, we was talking about the woman's tongue. An example that I used was my sister just having no respect for the man. And I talked about how men do not have to give respect in order to receive respect, that men should just give respect off GP. And I was just kind of just blown because like my sister felt the need that she not only tried to disrespect me, but when my grandfather was in the house and said he didn't want no yelling in the house, she just totally disregarded him. Mm-hmm. And my concern is that even in marriages, the relationships, and just even as strangers, that women feel that it's okay to disrespect a man. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it a couple of ways and tie it into something I heard earlier. If we can't hold anybody accountable that we are directly tied to, we can't have a community. You used to get a whooping by Mr. Brown. Yeah, Mr. Brown saw you doing something wrong because you were accountable to the community, not just your mama and daddy. When you leave that sitting right there. The women today don't fear what Sean Connery told Barbara Walters. There are times when the best course of action is to slap a woman. That's what Sean Connery said. It's still on YouTube right now. Go look at it. And Barbara Walters was like, thought he was going to recant his statement, and he doubled down. He said, let me explain what I mean. He's like, women have a way of not knowing how to let things go. You can give up the argument. You can let it go. They can know they've won. There's nothing else to be gained. And they will continue to push and push and push. And he said, at that point, once you've exhausted all other options, then a slap becomes a good option. And you only have to do it once. Shahrazad Ali tried to say that stuff and it set the Black community on fire. Why is this? Because between the men on this platform right now, if we were in public, we have to moderate what we say, whether we know each other or not, because there's a low-level threat of violence and aggression between all men. Fuck YouTube, fuck degrees, fuck money. You cross a certain line with a man, we're going to have to shoot the fair one. We know that. You can be in a wheelchair, you can be on a crutch, you can, whatever. You can be special. You got to do that. But see, there is no low-level threat of violence between women and men today. Women are allowed to be verbally disrespectful beyond the point of reason because there's no consequence, because they don't fear the repercussion. So listening to that, and this is why anybody familiar with the concept of domestic discipline?
No,
domestic discipline in a nutshell is me and Courtney are married. And Courtney and I are vibing. But Courtney knows that she can get on one sometimes. And we sit down and say, when you get on one, and after we go through the process, and I use the safe word, banana split, and you still stay on one after I say banana split. You heard me say banana split. I acknowledge you heard me say banana split, and you stay on one. Well, then it's time for the domestic discipline. And it is exactly what it sounds like. Lay across the knee and on the ass. Thank you. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. And what I will do is I will put the links to the women who teach this stuff, and this has been talked about in sectors of the manosphere, it's adult correction.
I've never heard of that before in my entire life.
I hadn't heard of it until I got here on YouTube, but I'd heard of the concept, but I didn't hear it that way. And the thing is, it doesn't, and it's nonviolent. And here's the point. Can you imagine being a grown woman and you got to hear banana split, and you know you should have stopped and you kept on going, and then you gotta, and you volunteer, and the woman has to volunteer for this. She volunteers to do this. It's not coerced, and it doesn't rise to the point of respect. Lay down, get the paddle out. All right now, Courtney, you know, banana split, and you just think about the psychological thing. I'm like, I am 34 years old, and I'm having to get swatted or hit with my hand. And who teaches this? Women teach other women. What was that woman's name? I'm gonna put her name down in the comment section. And I want you guys to understand the spirit in which you're saying, because this can get really misinterpreted.
Yeah, we get you. We adults.
But the thing is, the notion is that women know that the power of life and death resides in the tongue, and you use that instead of using it for our benefit, turning it against your men to the point to where you should not have to fear the venom that's potentially in the tongue of your women. Your enemy should have to fear that, not the men who share your crest.
Men than women.
Yes. All right, so this is the Sean Connery, Barbara Walters clip following.
Ago, you did an interview, which may come back to haunt you. What you know what I'm going to say, right?
No.
Okay, you did an interview in which you said, not the worst thing to slap a woman now and then. As I remember, you said you don't do it with a clenched fist. It's better to do it with an open hand. Mm. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't love that.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
No, not at all.
You think it's good to slap a woman?
No, I don't think it's good. I
don't think it's bad?
I don't think it's that bad. I think that it depends entirely on the circumstances and if it merits it. Yeah.
What would merit it?
Well, if you have tried everything else, and women are pretty good at this, they can't leave it alone. They don't want to have the last word, and you give them the last word, but they're not happy with the last word. They want to say it again, and get into a really provocative situation. Then I think it's absolutely right.
To give her a good slap?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if she gives you a good slap back?
Well, then you get into another area. I mean, then maybe she's getting to like it, and then it becomes something else. I don't know. But seriously, I think that it's the last resort. He's not going to do it because he wants to do it. Huh?
Wait till people see this interview. Are you going to get mail?
Might get some female.
Yo, Sean Connery, boss. Okay, he's absolutely ridiculous, Sean Connery, in that clip. And anyway, so those are the type of conversations that sorry about that fucking voicemail from my swimming instructor. Okay, those are some of the types of conversations that I remember hearing. Y'all talking like he was like, oh, the Black family matters. That's what I'm saying. Like, something wrong with y'all. The way that most of the things in Neely Fuller, oh God. I just read the entirety of your name, Neely Fuller. Jesus. But anyways, like her post says, right? It's a lot of negativity up in the space. And y'all be sitting up there be like, so-and-so, there's no way all these people around here leading greatness and shit, and everything is so toxic and negative. I listened to him once, was turned off and blocked him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like him, and I decided after talking about him a few times and watching a good amount of his content to be able to discuss him, I decided I'm not giving this guy any more attention. And not that it mattered, right? At all. He blew up, But I knew that I could say I didn't help, support his message, this type of message. And people's like, oh, he can change, and he said things differently. Y'all act like he Malcolm X coming back from Shabazz or something, Mecca or something. I said Shabazz. Act like he Malcolm X coming back from Mecca or something. Like, he didn't change that radically. He's a content creator. He's going to adjust the message to the money. Stop talking about people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a content creator. He chose to be controversial. He chose to be problematic. And so there's going to be a controversial response when something like this happens. Here's another video that was more recent of him talking to a Black woman about her child. So let's take a listen to that video.
Do you think you can make your child an asset to the kind of man you want to marry?
How can I make my child an asset?
To the kind of man you would want to marry. And this is a question all women are going to have to answer for themselves. How are my children benefiting you as my husband? And that's
what would you suggest? I'm just wondering because
I would say it's going to be extremely difficult. But what I would suggest is women who actually think about it from the man's side, understanding that my child today is a liability because it costs. So number one, is she well-mannered, well-behaved, smart, taken care of? Does she understand, and do I really believe that you're going to come second to my husband? Is my husband going to come first? Or is it we're a package deal? If you're a package deal, that's no deal. I'll be honest, it's a package deal, that's no deal, because let's say you and I were to get married, you got a daughter, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say we have 2 kids together. Mm-hmm. And your child is 5. So 10 years from now, your daughter comes home and said, Kevin touched me, looked at me getting out of the shower. What happens next?
The relationship would have to end.
Huh?
That's not something the relationship would end immediately.
Because your daughter said I looked at her getting out of the shower.
Why would that person even be close to the bathroom to see her? Mm-hmm. That would be the thing. You have to defend your seed. You have to defend your child.
Mm-hmm. But you also remember, you got 2 of my kids. Mm-hmm. So that means I should never listen to them. That means I should avoid women like you, because off the rip, your desire to defend your child blew up. You got 2 of my kids, and off rip, your protective instinct says fuck everything, including those other 2 kids. Because if it was biologically my child, you said it would be over. Why would you not question your child? Why would you not question it? Why would you not just say, girl, whatever, that's your daddy?
I don't give a damn what nobody got to say about it. Anybody that subscribes to Kevin Samuels and his beliefs do not deserve a family. How the fuck you expect a woman to present her child as an asset to you? How can you call yourself a protector if you expect to be protected before the children? That's some weak ass shit. What if your daughter told you that her uncle was staring at her getting out the shower? You gonna tell her the same thing? Girl, that's just your uncle. That's fucking disgusting.
Okay, so keep in mind, right? I got shout out to the 28 people in the chat. Okay, I got 28 people here. This is a guy that would have thousands of people in his chat room. This is a guy with over 1 million subscribers. He had a responsibility to the Black family that he's claiming to. You see what I'm saying? And anybody that would listen to that stuff and normalize that is mentally ill. And normalize it. And so many of the, the Pick Misha sphere went so hard for him. Daddy Samuels. And I'm like, how can you as a woman go hard for a guy who's putting out a message like this? And don't tell me, I don't want to hear what about the good stuff that he said? I don't want to have a man in my home that's talking to me and my children like that. And then people tell me, but what about the good things that he says? Hearing that type of stuff is negative. It is dysfunctional. It's sick. She absolutely should not date a guy like that. I personally believe, and you guys know how I feel about that on this channel, you have children, you need to focus on those children. You don't need to be focusing on finding a partner. The end. Yeah. You saying I can't have a partner? I'm saying you need to focus on those children first and foremost. If you want to ensure that you and your partner are on the same page, make sure you know them well and that you marry them before you have children. You know, responsible things. So I'm sorry, but the list goes on. The list goes on. There's so many videos where he's talking like this. And those are just videos where he's talking on the subject. Those aren't even the videos where he's outright just going in on a Black woman, be like, be, shut up, be, you know what I'm saying? Doing all of that, which he calmed that down because he was trying to go more mainstream. But as you can see, that was one of his more recent messages, what he just said to that woman about her daughter. That was one of his more recent messages. This probably happened in the last 2 months, this video. What kind of legacy is that? What kind of legacy is that? Y'all going hard for that? Dysfunctional. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. I feel very sorry for these children that are going to have to deal with adults like you. Anyone that sat there and listened to this man's message and talk about how good he was. Look, he came at it flaws and all. He wanted to be controversial. He wanted to be problematic. And now that, you know, now that he's not here anymore, it's like, oh, well, you better respect him like he's some pastor of a church. He made a lot of money. He didn't get that to nobody. He paid his back child support arrears. There's people going hard for him right now, like they know everything about his legal case. Well, what we do know is that he was in arrears and then he paid it with his YouTube money. He made a lot of money. He didn't help, you didn't see him go to some community center, go to some school and donate a chunk of that money. He made so much money off of Black people. I think that we can have an honest conversation about who he honestly was, since he wanted to keep it so real. So, I just dropped the link again if anyone's interested and anyone feels at this point that what I'm saying is not right. Okay, let's leave it for that so I can get through this stuff. But again, I think that what I'm saying is clearly correct, right? The guy was problematic and his message was messy, and that's not unification. That's not unifying people to tell me that. Like one, and let's be clear, right? Like what Sean Connery's talking about and stuff. When you're young and passionate, when you've been in a long-term relationship, I think that men and women can take things too far, you know, and that's we're seeing a lot of that being unfolded in this Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, right? I think that men and women can take things really far when you're young and passionate, when there's substance abuse involved, or when you've been together for a long time, okay? But his message is like, so therefore, like, put her down, literally, right? Physically, psychologically, put her down. You know, and then so many times we talk about, oh, is the gender war real? Is the gender war real? Right? And I'm like, what a silly question. Because you can see the manifestation of the gender war in the streets of America. These people are listening to this message. The Brooklyn bomber. He was listening to these negative, nasty messages out here. There are so many Black women that have been hurt by guys listening to these messages, and you guys are just trying to sit up here and actually say that there's something valid in this. You got to be kidding me. You know, and I'm sure there's a bunch of people that have come in and seen what I'm talking about and be like, whatever, I want to hear so-and-so say, but go take your dumb ass on. They don't want to be saved. Only God can save Black people. It's not going to be a YouTuber. That's why I tell them all the time when you come over here with the negativity, I'm like, y'all not who y'all think y'all are. Y'all think y'all some spiritual, like gospel group of people. You guys think you're like a gospel choir. You're like, we a gospel choir group of people. It's like, y'all have some of the most negative spaces on social media. And if you look at your life is negative. It's a direct correlation. Look, I was very pessimistic for many years. I didn't want to do the work. I wanted to be angry. That's how I know so many women on here and men, that's what they want. They want to be angry. I didn't want to do the work. I wanted to be angry. And the snowball effect continues when you're on that. So I'm not telling you because I'm like, it's kumbaya. I'm telling you because there's blessings waiting for you at the end of your healing. Or in your journey of healing. I won't say the end of your healing because it's a process. There's not blessings waiting for you talking about other people and this type of negative. Like, there were 2 or 3 Black women on this panel when he's talking about, you know, disciplining a woman. And there's a need to control a very insidious, dark, problematic need for control over other people's bodies, over other people's autonomy. Why? Because your own life is not controlled. So you want to control something in somebody. Y'all gonna have to stop, give that up. Because I'm not gonna live in a world like that. No, I'm not. That's why they come over here and they're like, oh, she's saying some things I want to hear, but no. She said this and now. I don't care. Because I'm not trying to get women into a place where they're mentally weak so that y'all can control them. You want to control something, control yourself. Go build something. Go control yourself. Control yourself. Oh, sometimes a woman will just take it too far and you just gotta discipline her and knock her out. No, you need to control yourself. You need to control yourself. Especially when you're walking around thinking and or understanding that you are the stronger sex, certainly physically stronger most of the time, right? When you're walking around with that mentality, why would you lose control of yourself? And you know that there's a child or a woman who isn't as strong as you that is kind of depending and hoping on you keeping it together, right? Oh, she kept yelling at me. That's what I'm saying. These passionate relationships, these young relationships, long-term relationships, relationships that are, because boring relationships don't have this problem, right? Relationships that are affected by substance abuse, like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, right? People need to learn how to control themselves. I don't think anyone's ever had that conversation with y'all on here. I've never heard not one other content creator. I'm sorry, but I'm the only content creator I know. I think the roommates might have conversations like this with guys, right? And being like, we have to control ourselves more because he listens to Jordan Peterson, right? Who's also a strong advocate of controlling yourself. You need to control yourself, you know? That's what makes the man. That's what makes the character. That's what makes you interesting. That's what makes you in power, is knowing the power you have and then wielding it, right, for the right reasons. Now, to do this, most people would have to make a different choice, a separate choice, a better choice, a more strategic choice. And y'all don't want to do that. That's why I don't come on here telling y'all about it and talking to y'all about it. No, I'll talk about it on my Patreon, but a lot of people ain't ready for that. Making a different choice. Most people don't want to do that. They want to be on remote control, always doing the same thing on autopilot. Sorry, remote control. I knew it was something to do. They want to be on autopilot. They don't want to think, right? Because life is hard. This all goes back to what you choose to talk about, what you choose to put your energy into, what you choose to put your money into, who you choose to call a leader. I'm on here laughing and kikiing with everybody else listening to these content creators, but taking them seriously, hold your horses. Hold your horses. I've told you guys before, and I'm just going to shout him out because he had a really good video the other day, Dr. Rashad Ritchie. To me, he is a guy to follow. If you're going to follow a guy on here, you guys need to be following Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Black folk, I'm talking to you. This is a black folk kind of video. I mean, you know, non-black people knew Kevin Samuels, but this is one of my, you know, what's up, black folk videos. You guys need to be following Dr. Rashad Ritchie. You might not like or agree with everything that he has to say, but it's clear he cares about black people. He's someone that can be taken seriously. I would rather see 2 million people on his channel. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather see thousands of people in his chat than to keep seeing these same toxic content creators getting cash apps and y'all sitting up there and be like, you so good. You so humble and sweet. And they're like, I know I am. I'm the most humble bitch on here. That's why y'all need me, black women. That's why I'm like, oh my God. But all you talk about is how great you are, right? And that's, you know, it's a product of mental illness. Again, I've said it before in this live. I've said it in other lives, and I'll continue to say it. Oppression is not a normal state to live in. Why are y'all talking about who she do and what she do and what you do when you're living under systems that are affecting the quality of your life? Most other groups of people care about the quality of their life. Black people decide because we're cool, because we are, because we can dance, because we can sing, because we can cook, we're going to use escapism. And we're not going to focus on the issues that matter. And it's not helping you if you're serious. Sometimes I feel like people like pop up and be like, wow, we ain't serious about none of this. You know, I understand like you want to play games and stuff, but like, where do the games stop? There are people that are listening to your message when you have millions of subscribers the way Kevin Samuels did, thousands and thousands and thousands of people in your chat room, the way he had such a huge platform. There are people that are listening to you that are mentally ill. He doesn't have any accountability for that. Because there are Black women that have had a lot less of a reach, and y'all blame them for everything. So, only God can save Black people. I think that we've established that here on this channel. Okay, it's not going to be a YouTuber. But was his delivery necessary? Right? Is that the only way you can really reach some of these people, is to explain it like this and blah, blah? Well, child, might be. A lot of Black men didn't care about Breonna Taylor's death. They mocked her and said she should have chose better. Exactly. You know, they want to get on and control the narrative so quick. And they're like, you guys aren't just talking about Kevin Samuels. You're talking about all of us. I've told y'all before, you're not the celebrities that you watch, okay? They don't think that y'all are them. And you aren't the celebrities that you watch, okay? You're not Kevin Samuels. You need to stop enmeshing yourself with celebrities. Look in the mirror and realize you are an individual person who needs to focus on what you want out of life to get it, because it's not going to happen mimicking and, you know, coddling and catering to YouTube celebs. I don't think that Black women's response to Kevin Samuels passing, and that some of them are celebrating it, I don't feel like that's indicative of how they feel about all Black men. No, I don't. But the way that y'all will celebrate every time almost any Black woman perishes or something happens to them, you know, they did it with Meg Thee Stallion. That's coming off like y'all want to send a message. Like, if you don't act the way that we say act, that we're going to laugh and make fun of blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whew, sick. Can you imagine trying to like get those type of people to like you? People that think like that? I don't want them nowhere near my channel. Crazies. Was his message, was his delivery, not his message, but the delivery, was it necessary? I think so. Okay, I think so. You know, I choose to not be like that and have a harsh, strong delivery. And, you know, that affects, you know, how people see you. He was able to give himself more credibility where he didn't have the credibility to give himself, right? Because he wasn't in a successful marriage to be talking about. He never had a successful marriage, right? Because successful marriages last more than 2 to 5 years, right? But he was telling everyone else what they needed to do to have a successful marriage. So a way to do that, which is why a lot of these content creators will talk about how great they are to establish credibility, but also, right, kind of being cruel, right? If you look at early Judge Judy videos, which I've seen probably all of her videos over the decades, okay? You guys know I watch things that are more pertaining to life, you know, and I'm very interested in small claims cases, okay? Judge Judy she was this little woman from Brooklyn. She's like, oh, tell me about it. Why did he do it, right? And she was like that in her earlier years. When she got popping and stuff, she's like, quiet, I'm talking. Hey, I'm speaking, listen to me. Hey, you know, it was a totally different thing, right? And that's the Judge Judy that we know and love. We don't know the Judge Judy that was like, I'm a little lady from Brooklyn. Well, what do you think about it? Okay, well, what does he think? You know, it was like, oh, okay, she's kind of spicy. But when she started being like, hey, I'm talking, get him out of here. Case, I'm done with this, right? I'm speaking, right? That's when we, you know what I'm saying? So that works with people. That works with people. So that's why content creators do it. That's why I believe his delivery was necessary for him, because if he delivered things and was like, hey guys, I just wanted to speak to you, y'all would be like, get him out of here. Boo, boo, he ain't turned up. He ain't, he don't, yeah, you know, you always want it to be a show, right? That's one thing that I love about Black people, but also is exhausting about Black people, right? It's always got to be a show, or y'all can't receive the message. That's why we have a very small, awesome group of people on this channel. Because you're people that can receive the message. You don't need, you know, that stereotypical kind of delivery. You know, again, I don't talk to my audience like they're not smart, right? But if he hadn't delivered his message the way that he did, because he was doing this for a while, he was doing this YouTube channel stuff for a while, y'all wasn't listening to him. because he wasn't delivering it like that. So he had to deliver it like that for people to start listening to him, taking him seriously, whatever, right? My question is, did he make that choice knowing that he wasn't long for this earth? I'm just wondering, I just can't believe like we're really never going to hear what this guy has to say again, because, you look at how it all went down. And I was telling my husband last night when we were walking the dog, I was like, yo, if I was him, especially when he's sitting up there, y'all gonna die alone, y'all gonna die alone. I said, if I was him, I would live in an apartment where something happened to me, you couldn't get into that apartment for 10 years. And for 10 years, I would have videos. I'm just saying, if he knew he wasn't long for this earth, right? For 10 years, I would have videos stacked up. Hey, Danie, I use not long for this world to describe people who will, yeah. So is he real? Yeah. Yeah. I think it's real. I think it's real. And like I said, if I was him and that his major message being like, you're going to die if you don't do what I say, right? You're going to die alone. You're going to die alone. He didn't say you're going to die. Right? It's like, you're going to die alone if you don't do what I say. And for him to die alone, if he was just married, a woman that loved him could have maybe seen, hey, what's this rash on your back? Hey, why are your fingernails, looking like that? Or, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes the fingernails will turn into a different shape when there's different bodily issues, right? But he didn't have that because while he's telling young Black women, because he didn't give a damn about these other women, he was like, young Black women, where you at? While he's telling young Black women, like, what they need to do so they don't die alone, and telling Black women over the age of 25 to just settle and shut up, he's not investing in building relationships. He's telling you the benefits of it, but he's not living that life. Like I said, I would have had, the apartment would have been shut down. It would have been like code blue. Something happened to me, code blue, shut it down. Can't nobody get into the apartment. He had the money for it. And then I would have had 10 years of videos lined up. 10 years of videos. Like, I would have been changing shirts every day. Like, I would have been, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm going out like that. I'm sorry, but I'm like, don't like tell me he has some videos lined up or something. Like, I just, because for it to happen like this so suddenly, I'm like, did he know? This is crazy. But I guess it's real. I guess it's real, y'all. I'm like, oh my God, Okay. Okay. So yeah. Was he disrespectful to Black women, or was he bursting their bubble, right? By being like, look, you don't have the looks, you're fat, so you're not going to get a man that makes over 6 figures. And if you don't settle, you're going to die alone. Was he being disrespectful, or was he bursting their bubble? That's up for whoever's interpreting it to decide, I guess. Again, I found his generalizations insulting. So to Black women, I found his generalizations to be insulting. I found the messages like the ones I just played, where he's talking about very serious issues, domestic violence, and the safety of your children, which comes first and foremost before anything, including your own life. I mean, you got to take care of your life so that you can take care of the kids, but that was disrespectful as hell. Did you just hear those clips I just played? They were disrespectful as hell. It's not funny. It's not cute. When you have impressionable men, so I talked earlier in the video about how impressionable Black women are, right? The next group of most impressionable people in America goes to Black men. You got this impressionable group of men that are looking for a leader 24/7, and you're telling them stuff like this. That's very disrespectful to the women that are have to be on the receiving end of that. Because y'all don't want y'all bubbles burst, right? Talking generalizations, right? But you want to do it to the women. Come on. So then we get into the false statistics. Okay. And this guy's entire YouTube career was a bunch of false statistics. He made up statistics that like would say that the majority of Black children in America are born to like 20-25% of Black men. He was just making stuff up, and it was enraging these guys. And it was stupefying them because it was wrong. Like, dude, you can't just make up false statistics. I don't think that's disrespectful. I don't think that's harmful. How is that helping to make up false statistics? So that was trash. He lied about the dynamics of this community. Community, originated by me, DanieSteel. Sorry, but it's true. Sorry, I don't take credit if credit ain't due. I came up with community, okay? I've been saying it for years. Welcome. He lied about the dynamics, guys, like just straight up lied. He'd be like, men don't care about your money, which is so not true in this community. That's not true. It's not statistically true. The majority of Black women in Black couple relationships are the breadwinners. This is keeping in mind that men make more money than women, okay? And statistically, Black men earn more than Black women. What that means is if they're working in the same field or job, they would get paid more to do the same thing. That doesn't mean that y'all all out there working, making more than Black women. So, right? So anyways, I've been in a lot of homes growing up. I've seen a lot of Black women, and they all earn more money than a man. They all earned more money than the man. So this guy's, he was lying and being like, they don't care about your money, which is not true. Because, I would tell people, I've told you guys before, I was like telling this guy, I was like, Black guys, they were into my sisters because they were lighter skinned. They weren't really into me. He was like, maybe it's because of how you are. He was trying to tell me that like, I didn't do the things, right? I didn't send out the bat signal, right? I didn't send out the pygmesia signal that you must send out, okay? I didn't send it out. Like this, I would never pay for nothing for a man ever, okay? All right? Like, I'll get you a gift on occasions. I get my husband like little cute gifts all the time. I've shown you guys like look at this little cute gift, $5, $10, $50. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not buying you a game system. Get your own game system, bruh. What are you talking about? I'll be seeing these videos. These girls be like, and the dude be all happy and stuff. Hey, that's what I said. They want to be in their feminine. You gotta let people, let them be where they want to be. Because they be happy as a clown when these girls be planning their vacations on TikTok. They be like, oh my gosh, she took me here. Be twirling around and shit. I'm like, okay. Look at you. Right? Let them twirl. Okay, I'm not gonna stop you from twirling. But this guy was lying about relationship dynamics in the Black community because it's not normal in other communities. It's not normal for the woman to be the breadwinner. So he was lying, and that's annoying because it's like anybody that's in the community knows that Black women are the breadwinners in the home if there's a guy there at all. That's counterproductive, and it's gaslighting. And it's insulting. I think about all the dudes I had to see sleeping on the couch because they just got out. I think about all the foster mothers I had that were weird and creepy and did what Kevin Samuels wanted, which is not listen when, one of their foster children would say, this guy that just got out of jail that legally should not be here. It's kind of creepy. They did it, and their dependence on that and stuff, and how the guy, the guy just gets out of jail. You wouldn't have a home to get to getting out of jail coming around me. I don't know what to help you. Halfway home. I'm not a halfway home. I'm a full home. Okay? Fully sponsored and provided for by a man. Okay? I don't have a place to offer a man. Can't nobody that know me be like, can I stay? No, you absolutely cannot. I don't like visitors. I don't like guests. Okay? Everybody know that y'all be depending on these women having money, yo. Like, stop. And it'll be like the brokest sounding dude too. He'll be like, we don't care about your money. And I'm like, oh my God. Like when I hear it, and you can hear like, oh, you know, the little like, she bought me an Xbox, y'all voice, you know, and I'm like, somebody bought you an Xbox and you talking about how you don't care about it. If you don't care about money, then y'all be dating a lot more women like me who don't give you shit. Y'all don't date women like me who don't give y'all shit. Y'all know that, right? I know so many Black women and they would just go out of their way, you know, for the Black guy that they're with. They just go out of their way. They're like, yeah, I give you this and I give you, I ain't giving a man shit. You a man, you better go get it. You better go get it. You're supposed to be getting me. You're supposed to be giving to me. Now, does that mean that it's on your birthday and I'm like, I bring nothing to that table when I'm on the table? Like I pop up out of a cake and like ruin your birthday? No. Like I said, occasions are to be celebrated. Here and there's are to be like, oh my God, here and there, right? You know? But all this extra. So anyway, so that was Cap, right? That was Cap. And y'all need to hold that L and admit that. That's why I won't have conversations with people on here because I'm like, see, I dropped the link twice. Ain't nobody come up to disagree. But then when the video replays, they'll be like, and this and that. I'm feeling strongly. Okay, well, but do you have a valid point? People are saying that he passed away in you know, some apartment in Buckhead or something that he was like subleasing, according to reports, allegedly, right? And it's just like, he wasn't doing those high value men moves that he's telling everyone else to do. He should have owned property at that point, you know? He encouraged Black women who already had not responsible fathers to take those men off of child support. And see, when he spoke about child support, there was such a disdain, right? Like all these guys hate child support. Hey, look, I'm married, so I don't do child support. I'm married. My husband provides. The end. Hallelujah. Thank God. He does what a man's supposed to do. Child support is for the child. Child support is so and such that, say two people are together, a Black woman, a Black guy, in an anomaly of the situation, the Black guy makes more. He makes 200, because y'all be starting at 100 like that means something. Okay, so anyways, he makes 200 and the woman makes 40. Okay? Kevin Samuels would say, give the father custody and don't make him pay child support and you guys will have a better relationship. Like, why are you making him pay child support? He makes $200,000 a year. I don't care if he has 3/4 custody. I can't give the kids. The kids are supposed to, in the court's mind, the kids are supposed to have a life similar to the life yo $200,000 a year behind gets to lead. They don't have to grow up poor and struggling. And I've seen so many times that kids will reach out. I mean, it's so sad to me. Like kids will reach out and be like, Mom doesn't have the money for groceries. Like, can you give us some grocery money? You know, and the guy will be like, and I did. My husband will never have a child reaching out to him being like, can you help us, Dad? He's going to have, the job's going to be done. So the child support is so that the child is provided for fully and not y'all leaning on the government, who I've told you guys a million times before, does not want to help you. If y'all haven't figured that out by now. Okay? One thing about me is, if you don't want to help me, I'll be on my way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to ask somebody for something that they don't want to give. So the government, when you enter into, relations with them and are depending on them for any type of financial support or whatever, I mean, they have enough control as it is. That's a lot of control they have over your life at that point. That's not something you should want for your life. And this is coming from someone very experienced in the system, had to live in the system literally as a child. Okay? I'm telling you, you don't want these people in your life. So he would tell women, stop, don't make him pay child support. Just give him 50-50, and then he'll pay his half when they're with him, and you'll pay your half when they're with you. And it's like, that's not how it works. It's not half and half. It's what these two people make to take care of these children. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, y'all try to get away with not paying child support. That's weird and creepy as hell. I'm not going to have conversations with dudes and be like, let's argue about whether you should pay child support. Big Nick, please. You must be outside your rat mind. I'm not going to argue or have a conversation with you about that. Don't take out that checkbook and get to writing. Take care of these kids. So you heard how he talked about children. He had a very, they're to be controlled and they're to help me, they're to serve me mentality about children, which is why he didn't have a relationship with a child. So not only was he not married, right, but he didn't have that dying alone stuff. This is what happens to a lot of guys, right? They get older and they did not do the work to maintain family relationships. They don't have a wife. They don't have children. Nobody's in the home. Nobody's calling to check up, right? But like, I talk to dad every day at 8:30. So if something happens, he falls down at 8. I'm at the door by 9. That could have saved him. Y'all don't facilitate those types of relationships, but you want to tell a woman what she better do so she don't die alone. Statistically, like women build tribes. They're surrounded by their children. They're surrounded by family and friends if they're not married. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's projecting. And it was very weird. It was a very weird tip. As I played for you already, he encouraged domestic violence. I just played the clip. So if you're here now and be like, wait, rewind. I just played the clip. He encouraged domestic violence. He said it's called domestic discipline. It's domestic violence to put your hands on someone, And then he made some disclaimer where it was like the woman agrees. Okay, that sounds like a kink. To me, that sounds like some type of weird, that doesn't sound like, that's not domestic discipline like what y'all be talking about. Y'all don't say that stuff talking about the woman has to agree. Like, no, you don't. But one of the things that I just liked the most about his very problematic, controversial talking points was that he discouraged Black women from getting an education. And I don't know if he was trying to encourage Black men by doing this, what I'm saying? By being like, yeah, if they're not there, then, you can go and not feel intimidated or something. I don't know. I don't know why, because it was the most bizarre thing I ever heard of. And then when it, came out that he was credits shy of getting his degree, right? I was not surprised, because when you go to college and you put in work, you want that degree, and I think he felt some type of way about the fact that he didn't get it. And I think some woman with a degree broke his heart or something, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That was very weird. That's very counterproductive. And then you had all of his spawn and these pick-me-shas, right? And the pick-me sphere and his little spawns, right? In the manosphere. Then they were all being like, yeah, education, gross. And I was like, what kind of bizarro world is this? What kind of bizarro world is this? If you're in the room, please thumbs up the video and subscribe. What kind of bizarro world is this? Look, I have my undergrad degree. I have my master's degree. I got a master's. I have a PhD. I don't have a PhD, but right, I got my master's And, I still didn't think much of it, to be honest, when I got those degrees. I wasn't like, I got degrees, because everybody around me had degrees. You know what I'm saying? So, and with those degrees, I struggled. You don't graduate on almost no one who isn't wealthy. Their parents, their family has connections, can tell you that they left college and everything went up. It's a struggle, and especially it's a struggle for Black people. But we don't have a lot of other choices. And he's trying to tell you that one of your choices was sitting around waiting out in the hood for some high value man to roll up on you, but he's not really going to be high value. He wants to be high value, but you're going to have to do this, and that to help make sure that he's high value. Anyways, don't go to college, sit back and wait for him, watch and see what he do, cater and coddle to him, make your whole life about him. That's an option. That's an option. That's an option. Sorry, but you guys weren't being real about the things that he was talking about. It would behoove you to speak life into people and positivity than to sit around telling people the condition that they're going to die in. It would behoove you for your mental health, for your physical health. Yeah, he got a little bad, but he was, in Atlanta. He got to go on some, trips. I didn't see him go international. I don't, what I'm saying? Like, to me, when you got all that money, like, I would be in Japan. Okay? I would be in Italy. I would be in Greece, around the world. And yeah. Okay? And he liked to, keep it local, I guess, to the Americas. But, it doesn't really pay having that mentality. It doesn't. And the people that have had that mentality have had it the entire time that they're on YouTube, and they're never going to grow and they're never going to change. You don't want to end up like that. If y'all really care about each other, then you'll do the work to heal yourselves. Did he have valid points when he was talking about some general things about dating? Coming from a man's point of view, certainly. And even when he corrected Black men about what they need to be doing for women, he's like, why would a woman want you when you don't have anything? You don't have anything going for yourself, right? He had some valid points, but the type of messaging that he was putting out with that kind of stuff, as large as his platform was, it was irresponsible at best. It's not to be praised. I hate how y'all get on here and praise just anybody. The bar is low. I already addressed earlier, like, it's so much negativity in the space. And that's why I make my little pre-made videos and I talk about a bunch of stuff. I keep it moving. I gotta keep it moving around. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep bobbing and weaving when it comes to y'all. Because people who are miserable, misery loves company. People who are miserable are determined to make other people miserable. They don't have a determination to get themselves out of the misery. They have a determination to bring people down to their level. You gotta watch out for that. I don't think that he should have ever gotten as big as he is, as he got, when he had such negative messaging throughout all of it. Again, it wasn't just the outlandish things that he would say, the immature, irresponsible, problematic, controversial things he would say. It's also all those false statistics his tone be this and be that. I don't care if he said bish or bench or whatever word he was like. I actually said some other B word, like you're 50 something years old. You should control yourself and show men, you know, when Jordan Peterson is talking to someone, he waits, he listens. If he's disagreeing with someone, he's not like, hey, listen. You know what I'm saying? So, all those false statistics, him having that large platform, that hurt for people talking about nuclear black family. That did not help the black family, okay? That hurt the black family. None of that shit helped the black family. It inflated a lot of average guys' egos, but it didn't help the black family. The black family has not been helped. The black family is not doing better from the years that Kevin Samuels was on YouTube. So what are you talking about? You know, and I'll be like, oh, you helping the black family. I helped a lot of black families out my pockets, one-on-one. I teach black kids. I've already told you guys that many times. So it's like, get out of here. And I wasn't even trying to, you know, it's just like innate because that's how I've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, y'all not on here, you know, y'all not on here being like, DanieSteel, she's trying to unite the black families. Like, you know, you're saying that about a guy who was not doing that. And I am trying to empower people to empower themselves. That's what I'm trying to do. I do not feel sorry for nobody. You know, I get on here and I try to help you with what I've learned along the way of trying to help and empower myself. That's it. And I made up community, okay? Period. Okay. He should never have gotten that big. Y'all gotta watch what y'all put y'all energy into. You know? I can't remember who I was listening to, but somebody was talking about this and they were saying, you know, y'all empowered him to be able to do a lot of things he probably wouldn't be able to do. Y'all gave him the resources to do it, right? Things that could have been detrimental to his health. By just, you know, giving him so much. It's like, he's not doing much. I mean, he's just playing y'all and cussing y'all out. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, it's not life-changing. I know there were women that were like, I got married because of Kevin Samuels. Like, no, you didn't. You know, he was a YouTuber. He was really popular for a few years, but he's not some like leader, you know, and what he led was dysfunctional. Lies and exaggerations and controversy, you know, and some of it was funny, you know, and a lot of it was entertaining for a lot of people. It stopped being entertaining for me. It was when you're lying and when you're spreading false messages and when you're putting out a message to your millions plus subscribers to say you can talk to black women like this, that's acceptable. And they're to be treated like this. That's not entertaining to me. And the fact that it's entertaining to so many of you, I don't know why you wonder why your life doesn't look the way you want it to look. Look what you're drawn to. Dysfunction and chaos. At a certain point, you got to grow up and be like, this shit isn't even funny anymore. It's not funny. You know, I think a lot of very controversial, problematic, just downright horrible black male content creators in this space, they got popular, people thinking that they were funny. People thinking this is funny, this is entertaining. And then next thing you know, you have this nasty, volatile person in the space. Now they mad that there are women who are out here competing with that. It was just the men for so long, right? Like interracial dating. And everything was Gucci. Now we all gotta be responsible and we all gotta take, I gotta take accountability for shit. This shit is fucked up. I didn't do none of this shit. I'm not taking responsibility for it. No, I won't. No, I won't. I'll try to help you out with some pointers and tips. I'll try to help you out with some pointers and tips. Y'all want every black woman to be like, black women, we got it. I ain't, get the fuck out of here. Let these women that want to go out here and do that, let them do it. You know, again, and I'll talk about this more when I'm talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation later on, right? She gets loud, you get loud. She pushes you, you push her, she pushes you. It's too much. Somebody needs to get control. It's not cute. It's not attractive. I don't know why people allow their relationships to spin into that type of chaos. Especially as a man, you should want to be in control of yourself. I mean, there's been a few times where I was like, I was not in control, right? And that's a scary state to live in. That's why a lot of y'all are miserable and very unhappy, right? Because you don't feel like you have control over anything. So get control. The first thing you can control, without a doubt, if you're going to control anything, is your own mind. You're not going to be able to control who she dates, you're not going to be able to. But you can control yourself, right? I remember once, I'm not going to tell you how long ago it was, but it was years ago, but still too recent for me to, you know, I'm not proud to say it, but I almost bopped a woman in the grocery store. Okay, I almost bopped her, you know, because it was pandemic height of the stress and the chaos. And I was so stressed out, right? And I could feel her on my bumper, right? Her shopping cart, you know, in the grocery store. And I whipped around and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't just bop her. You can't just go and bop her. You got to control yourself. Okay, so I did give it away for how long it was. It was like 3-4 years ago. Like 3 years ago. We were all stressed out. But the point was, I stopped myself and I was like, what are you doing? You're stressed out. You're freaking out because there's so many people here. Everyone's freaking out, you know, trying to get all this stuff and everyone's hoarding and it was chaos and I was freaking out. And I felt, you know, I went back into a state I was familiar with, which is panic and anxiety. Even though, you know, I couldn't see then, like, you don't have to be in that state. It's hard when everyone else is, though. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I almost bopped her. Because I was like, why are you so close to me? You know, like, you feeling like, you know what I'm saying? I don't do well with people in my space, okay? But even though I don't do well with people in my personal space, unless you have assaulted me or attempting to assault me, see, that's the thing. It's a fine line. It's a fine line because especially when you've gone through trauma, right? I'm like, are you attempting to hurt me? Because I won't allow the attempt. Please be clear. People will ride up on you. I'm like, listen, I'm not one to allow the attempt. See, that's why, you know, when Chris Rock mama talking about something, Will Smith slapped us all. No, he slapped your son. He ain't slapped me though. He ain't slapped me though. No, he didn't. Okay, because I would have known why Will Smith was getting on that stage. I don't care. I would have known because I know. You know a roll up when you see a roll up. You know, and Chris Rock has been rich for so long that he was sitting there grinning all cheesy. I'm like, bro, you gonna tell me you didn't know he's about to roll up on you? I roll up. Like, come on. Like, I know a roll up. I know a roll up. They be trying that, miss, can I use your phone? I know a roll up. No. I'm not going to respond. I'm out of here. Oh, excuse me, miss. Can I talk to you? Why would you want to talk to me? You don't know me. I know a roll up. And you know, I'm usually on my feet, but I like to think I could be on a bicycle and like get the hell away. You know what I'm saying? Like that New York City, you know, tri-state area roll up ish. You know, had to teach, you know, had to teach my husband like that's a roll up. They don't want to talk to you. So when you're heightened, right, you know, and you're constantly in that state, you know, and the people around you are constantly in that state, it's going to be chaos. It's not to be encouraged. You have to control yourself. I'm in spaces where I understand, like, yeah, I could, if I have to protect myself, and this is something that I've, okay, you know, I'll talk about going through in therapy. Okay, you guys know I'm big on therapy. Talk therapy if it works, but there's a lot of other ways to, you know, therapeutic ways to help heal yourself, right? One of the many ways I have going on right now is, you know, talk therapy, and I enjoy my therapist. And what we're discovering is that I can protect myself. I grew up under circumstances like a lot of the dysfunctional stuff that I hear here on YouTube, you know, and it's like I knock you out when I want to knock you out, and you have no bodily autonomy as a young Black girl. You have no bodily autonomy. Everyone can poke and prod at you and hurt you, and you know what I'm saying? And so I was very paranoid and anxious about that for a long time. In learning, going to swim classes, going to therapy, doing all of this internal work that I've been doing for years now, right? I'm learning like I can protect myself. So I don't have to live in a heightened state of fear and anxiety and frustration. I can protect myself. I can control myself. I can't control these other people, but I can keep an eye out. I don't know, swivel. You know, it always pops off. I keep my head on the swivel, but I can look out for myself. You know, I think a lot of people lose their, you know, go crazy, right? Because they've allowed themselves to stretch the lines of sanity. Control yourself. Man, woman, control yourself. You know? Okay, so let's see. I think we've had a comprehensive conversation about this Kevin Samuels situation. I'm gonna wrap it up. So to conclude, right? I think that if he practiced what he preached, he might have been in a different situation. You know, things might have played out differently than it did for him to pass away at 56, 57 years old, so young, you know, and he's telling you guys that that's not young and that's old and it's all over. But there are so many people who are just living life for themselves when they get to that age, you know. Most survivors of abuse aren't able to acknowledge that abuse until they get into their 30s. So life is a journey. It doesn't get easier just because you get older. You get stronger, you get better, you learn how to control yourself, you get wiser, you are more mature. And those are things to look forward to as you get older. Instead of people coming on here and try to be ageist and shame people for, you know, especially in the Black community, it's like, get it now. And nobody cares about like when you get older, like, oh, well, you can't do all those crazy fun things, so who cares? No, those are supposed to be some of the greatest years for you, for your family. You finally have the money to do a lot of things you couldn't do when you were younger. I mean, again, you know, the fact that he's gone and, you know, he was making so much money, you know, and, you know, they're looking for a replacement. It's not going to be a replacement, guys. Like he, you know, just like there's not going to be a replacement to, you know, Nicki Minaj, you know, it's like, I'm not hearing, well, Nicki Minaj was on his channel. So, but, you know, there never was a replacement Oprah. There's Oprah, there's Tamron Hall, but there's no two Oprahs, right? There's not going to be another Kevin Samuels, but try to find your own lane. And you know, they're always going to try to make a buck out of shaming Black women because most Black people find that to be a source of entertainment. They find it to be entertaining. So they're always going to be able to make a buck off of that, doing that in these spaces, unless and until it's no longer allowed. I mean, this is crazy. It's quite the plot twist. It really is. Everything that's been going on, it's like, whoa, wow, you know? And I saw him trying to change the message, you know, trying to, you know, get more of a wider audience for himself. But he also couldn't control that part of him that really felt like Black women and children owed him something, you know? So man, you know, that's that. You know, I don't know why or see why we would be talking about him again. So, you know, I guess that's it for the Kevin Samuels Chronicles on this channel. And, you know, I'm not even a person, like, there are people who were like literally made a career off of being like Kevin Samuels, you know, and I'm like, I'm not even nowhere near those kind of people. I made like 3 videos and I was like, oh my God, no, I'm not doing this anymore because his fans were emboldened to behave inappropriately and out of control. I don't like people that are out of control. Maybe that'll, you know, get popular. Like, y'all learn how to control yourselves. I'm sorry, but I'm going to put it out there. And don't tell me it's respectability politics, because I'm talking about Black people in relation to Black people, not how white people see you. That's shit that y'all care about. All right, I'm gonna try to read some of y'all's comments before I get out of here. Oh, never mind. I Googled and yeah. Yep. Living the Loving says, get the cardio in at least 20 minutes a day. You have to build that heart muscle and take vitamins, including iron. Absolutely. Take your health very seriously, especially like to be up in these spaces and letting it feed you toxicity. And you can see people just morphing into, you know, venom, like let the hate flow through you. Like you can just see people, they're so toxic and venomous. And I'm like, y'all sitting here talking about being in relationships with people. What smart person would want to be in a relationship with your negative, toxic ass? What smart person? I don't care how good you look. People don't want that. People want peace. Guess what? It's not just men. Men are always like, men want peace. Be my peace. Be my peace. If I hit you with the 2-piece. Okay, no, I'm joking. Yeah. I'm sorry. I saw that. Let's see. Steve Harvey was always a joke. I believed once or so when I was in my 20s. Now Steve Harvey's bodyguard told the truth about Black men on Raw and Uncut. Oh my God. I haven't seen that. I'll have to look into that. You're right, Danie. It doesn't make sense, but many people don't care if it makes sense because they'll most likely give it a pass if they're the favorite person or if they like you. Exactly. And it's like, I don't even think it's like favorite person. People are so flimsy and fickle. You know, they just want to hear somebody saying what they want to hear, what's going to feed their soul, what's going to feed their negativity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, a drag's a drag, a read is a read. You know, we all, Black people, that's part, you know, we know, especially Black American culture. I think it's more Black American culture than any other culture. Black Americans love to, what is it called? Not shoot the run the numbers or something like that. Like it's literally like it's what we do, right? I remember growing up and, you know, going to PWIs on scholarship, and I would drill people all the time. But it was for me, it was loving. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, look at so-and-so, and she think just because you know, and they'd be like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, this is how I show I care. You know, I didn't know any other, because that's how people dealt, you know, and they weren't even doing it out of love. Like, people were constantly telling me that I wasn't anything, right? And you grow up like that. And a lot of it is lighthearted and fun. And something that maybe other groups of people don't understand. But it's not always time for fun and games. It's not always time for fun and games. That's when they stop liking me, right? They're like, it's always time for fun and games. I'm trying to entertain myself. I remember having a conversation with a younger Black man. And that's why, I was like, you're young. You're young. We're having a conversation about this TV indoctrinate Black people. And if you know that you're being indoctrinated, why do you sit down and turn the TV on and mindlessly watch every day? You know, and a young Black man was saying, well, what else are Black people supposed to do? A bunch of fucking things, a million things, than to sit down and be on autopilot and do the same thing every day and complain about the same thing every day and expect a different result. A million other things they can do, a million other choices. I was like, read a book. They could read a book. They could listen to a book on audio. There's so many things they can do. They don't have to watch TV. I'm not going to, you know, be like, Black people have to watch TV because our lives are hard. Get that victim mentality. Get that feeling sorry for yourself. Get that shit out of your head. Because nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Okay, so no one's going to feel sorry for you. So get to work. Do the work. Be the change you wish to see. That's such a different mentality than most of the people have in these sectors and spaces that, you know, I almost laugh to say it because it's like, they're not going to do that. But maybe it'll reach one or two people. Maybe it'll reach one or two people. And again, I don't just talk it, I live it. Y'all see where I put my energy and what I engage in and what I don't. I'm not going to engage in anything that does not serve me. You know, so, yeah. If there's any more updates, maybe I'll come on and talk about them, but that's pretty much it for this. I might be on, you know, in a little bit, I might come back on to talk about this Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation or something else that I want to talk about. If not, I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, please thumbs up the video and subscribe. Okay, see you guys soon.